Well, hi, sociology people. I hope everything's going well. I hope that you're finding your way around the class and you're being able to find everything you need in Canvas and it's laid out like it needs to. But if you have any problems, really just let me know. Send me a message through Canvas and I will do whatever I need to do to, make it easier for you. So don't hesitate to do that. I want to do a little introduction about exactly what is sociology. Sociology is not psychology, psychology is not sociology. So let's talk just a little bit about what you can expect during this class. Um, if you notice on your syllabus, I have written at the top a little saying, and it says that something to the effect of, when you ask someone something and they tell you, let me think about it, that are they really thinking or are they just rearranging their prejudices? And so this will be your very first lesson in exactly what sociology is. All right, let's pause for just a second and think about the word prejudices. If I say the word prejudice, um, it, it's not a really warm, fuzzy feeling word. We tend to have things pop in our head when we say the word prejudice, things that, typically we have race or maybe we have sexual orientation prejudices. And so all of these things kind of pop in our head. So what this means is that the word prejudice and as well as all of our other words have value, just the word themselves. What if I said, I'm rearranging my preferences? That's a little lighter on the ear. It doesn't seem to come with the weight and with the baggage, if you will, that word prejudice comes with. And in reality, the two are kind of interchangeable. I have my preferences or prejudices, or I have prejudices or preferences. So this is kind of our first lesson. Now, what is an example of this? It can be something lightweight and it can lend to things that are a lot more serious in life. But for right now, opening up, let's just kind of keep this light. And let's say, an example. See, my son, when he was younger, he wanted a cell phone, as all young children do, young boys, young girls do. He really wanted the cell phone. And so I said, I kept saying, well, son, why do you need a cell phone? Because when you go anywhere, I give you my phone to use so you can call whenever you need to. When we're around the house, you can get my cell phone and you can play video games. And, son, those things are expensive. They're really, really expensive. And you're just a little young to manage that kind of responsibility. So, I just don't think so. And of course, in typical childhood fashion, he's like, please, mom, please. So what is the stall word that parents use? They say, let me, that's right, think about it. Let me think about it. So he's like, okay, all right, you just think about it for a little while. You just think about it. I said, okay, I promise I'll think about it some. So, a week or so later, he comes back and he's like, well, did you think about my cell phone? Did you think about, did you think about it? And I said, well, son, that's a lot of responsibility for you to have. They're not toys and they're just expensive. And besides, I mean, you have mine whenever you need it. But yeah, I'll think about it again. I'll think about it a little bit more. And every time he would come to me, I would give him some version of number one, it's too expensive. Number two, it's not a toy. Number three, you can use mine whenever you want to. He got a version of one of those three quote, quote, excuses, right? So, we were in Walmart one day. Yes, Walmart. We have to go there. Everyone does. So we were in Walmart one day. And he said, he had my phone and he was off in the store doing whatever it is that, little boys look at and things like that in the store. And after a minute, I heard, like, from across the store, "Mama, Mother, come here, come quick." And so, I went running kind of to that side of the store and he met me halfway and he had my phone in his hand and he's like, "Here, here, here, take your phone, take your phone. You better talk to somebody." And so I get on the phone. I'm like, "Hello, who's this?" And on the other end of this phone, this voice goes, "I'm on my way to kill her. I'm going to kill her graveyard dead. That is a dead woman." And immediately I recognized who it was. Uh, if any of you read my bio, you know that I worked as a counselor for many years before I started teaching here. And so this was one of my clients, and he and his soon to be ex wife at that time were going through a really nasty divorce. And so that was him on the other phone, on the other end of the phone. And oh, he was mad. He was so angry. I can't even remember what was going on, but he was so angry. And so, of course, I went outside, practiced good phone etiquette, and I sat down and I talked him down and, and everything was okay. And he was fine, and he ended up not going to kill his soon-to-be ex-wife, but instead he came into the office the next day or so for a session, and like I said, it was all good. But, and here's the big but. I went back in the store, and my son was standing there, kind of looking at me out of the corner of his eye with this little smirk on his face, kind of like the cat that ate the bird. Because guess what? He knew he had just won, because he looked at me and he said, "Hey, it's a good thing I wasn't at the show with your phone, or I wasn't at a friend's house with your phone. Sure is a good thing that you were right here when this person called." And I had to concede. He was right. He was absolutely right, because here's what was happening. Every time he asked me, "Remember those 3 things I had in my head?" Those were the exact same 3 things that I kept giving back to him. I wasn't really thinking about him getting a phone. I wasn't thinking about the consequences of a client calling, outside of office hours. I was not thinking about that at all. So, guess who went to the phone store, the next day and got their very own phone. So, again, we come back to this place of I'm thinking about it, but I'm staying in the box. So what I hope to do during this class, really fast-paced class, I hope what we're going to be able to learn to do is step outside of our box a little bit and kind of push some of our boundaries. I'm not going to ask you to change your mind. I'm not going to ask you to change your worldview, but when I saw how terrified my son was of, "Oh my gosh, what if I had been somewhere and I couldn't get to you and this man went and killed his wife?" When I was able to see that through his eyes, then yeah, I had to change, and I had to change my opinion. So this is part of when we talk about analyzing conflict. The more that we can talk, the more that we can share, if we keep talking and we're open and we're safe, we can figure out a way to resolve this conflict. But we need a couple of categories to be able to work within solving problems. And these are the 3 theories that you will learn in this very first chapter. We call it the conflict theory, functional analysis or functionalism, and then symbolic interactionism or symbolic theory. So we're going to be working with those 3 theories to be able to organize our thoughts. How am I thinking? And so if I'm thinking this way, can I get outside of this box and think another way? and better analyze a situation, an issue, a public policy, a feeling. It can be used for just about anything. So um, that's our goal in the first chapter. Then, with these categories or theories in mind, our next chapter we're going to look at different cultures. And then we're going to, from there, look at, okay, how do we learn these worldviews? How do we learn these values? And that has to do with socialization. So it's going to be a busy 2 weeks, this week and next week. And these two lectures are, they kind of form the core and the foundation of, the next 6 weeks. So pay close attention, and I'll be uploading, these videos periodically, because there is something to be said for a little bit of the lecture aspect with all of this. So I don't have anything to add right now. Just stop and think sometimes. Do I really think about things? Or let's see, do I just rearrange the beliefs that I already have that guide my life? Right? So we'll talk soon. Thanks.